It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls. It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Wow. Boy, scary situation here this morning. There, fine. Looks like I'm on now, finally. Wow. Sorry about that delay, folks. That was the machine was just sitting there doing nothing. I'm not sure why. So anyway, welcome to today's travel and cruise industry podcast. On this, the 27th day of August, 2025, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg, from my studio in Forest, Virginia. Brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scoot Around, and by Chillie's Cruises. And several things to go over today, folks. Number one, this will be the last show with this awful old broken down computer. My computer is ready. I'm leaving right after the show to run over and pick it up. So for the next show, we'll have the other computer back, and I won't have this delays and stuff like I've had with this one, and the slow doing everything so slow. It'll be good to get mine back again. My newer old one. So, all right, we got several things to cover this morning. Plus, there's not any great big stories, but there was a bunch of little stories today. The lead story this morning is Star of the Seas glass wall shatters during a cruise. Wow, another glass wall shattering on a Royal Caribbean ship. Also today, 2 guests airlifted. Wonder of the Seas makes Miami debut. MSC World Europa loses power. A family sues Norwegian over a drowning death. Tennis star named brand ambassador. Lenny Kravitz to headline in the Bahamas. And a man overboard from Wish. And that's with a question mark. I'll get to that. And lots more live here at 11 o'clock this morning, folks. On a Wednesday morning. A little bit cooler here in Virginia. I don't know. That might put an end to the pool, folks, if the temperature dropped a whole lot more. I was in it day before yesterday. It was right on the edge of, yeah, man, it drops a degree and it'll be too cold for me. I don't know. It was cold last night. It's going to be cold here several nights in a row. Even if it gets up to 80 in the day, that normally does not warm the pool that much. But we'll see. All right, today is National Peach Day. I guess there are places in the South where peaches are now ripe. They're not ripe here yet. So National Peach Day is too early for Virginia. But I do like peaches. I like peaches about any way, you can give it to me. I'll eat one right off a tree if I can. In 1859, this was one that I had to take notice of. And I thought through it, and I'm still surprised. 1859, folks, the first successful commercial oil well is drilled in Titusville, Pennsylvania. Now, I mean, I know there's oil in Pennsylvania, but I had no idea that the oil in Pennsylvania was that much ahead of the oil in Texas and Oklahoma, and then the Gulf Coast, and then out in the Gulf. I'm not sure which came first, but I'm surprised that it was the one in Pennsylvania. All right, so I learn something every day, folks, from you guys. If you're a podcast person, you can always access the what's this? Oh, this show wherever you get your podcast from. Yeah, just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and that pops the old fat guy. We do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, unless something major happens, and we can jump in and do it any day. Same thing when I'm traveling. We do that as well. All right, so I had a very interesting phone call this morning concerning PT. The PT folks called me, and we tried to come up with a way that may be able to go back and try PT again to see if I can get some of this lack of breathing improving, since all the tests and stuff have been a complete letdown on any further advancements. So we'll see. Anyway, I had a nice talk with Sarah. I did this once before for a year and a half or so. And then, I have declined quite a bit from them. So I'll try it again. We can work it out, how I can do it with my chair. Probably take my walker over there and try to use the walker in the building itself, going from machine to machine. I don't know. We got some things to work out. All right, so really, this is probably a news story, but I can't really call it a news story. Although SpaceX this morning, folks, successfully had a test flight of the newest generation rocket Starship, reversing a trend of disappointing failures. Of course, the successful test opens the door and the way for Hot Air Tom to visit the moon, which will be coming up sooner rather than later. So I guess somebody new might think that I'm serious about that. Who knows? Who knows? All right, folks, we finally hit another milestone. Man, has this been a long time coming. Finally hit 7,000 subscribers. I mean, it's just been pulling teeth between 6 and 7. Anyway, thank all of you for joining me and supporting the channel. That's awesome. Speaking of Hot Air Tom, I think this is Hot Air Tom. Let's see. Yeah. So he went to a martini thing on the ship that he's on. Celebrity. What's he on? Celebrity Constellation. Celebrity. On Celebrity something. That looks like a chocolate martini to me. Something that I enjoy on occasions. I can't drink a straight martini, the gin and vermouth and the olive. Yeah, I can't do that. A chocolate martini now I enjoy. I enjoy that quite a bit. Little sunset action is, Hot Air Tom and Cindy are getting back into our normal territory as opposed to Iceland and Greenland and places that a lot of us have never been. as they were going into Halifax. You know, I've been to Halifax a whole bunch of times. One of my favorite little cities. I've had a lot of fun in Halifax. I told the story many times about being there for O Canada Day or one time, and that was a tremendous amount of fun. One of the damn ships going into Halifax. Halifax has become a big modern city. The painting of the puffins at the terminal. They have some double-deck buses. And then Hot Air Tom got on the got on the duck tour. That's a duck tour ticket. And he got on the Halifax duck tour. And there he is. At first I thought this was him on a tender, but I believe that's on the duck boat, whatever you call that thing, amphibian. So that would be Hot Air Tom. So let's see, what else do I have? That's about all I have this morning in it. Again, folks, I have not had the time or the speed to do it on this computer of doing a lot of loading of stuff you guys have posted up. I'll try when I get my computer back that I can do this on a little speedier basis. I'll try to get caught up with everybody that's traveling at this time. All right. Again, we've got a bunch of news stories today, and that aren't humongous big stories, but there's a bunch of stories. So we'll get to that after a quick break from one of our fun network sponsors. All right, we're going to lead off today with Shattering Glass.
Star of the Seas, which debuted just 10 days ago at Port Canaveral, encountered a safety incident at sea when one of the tempered glass walls on Deck 15 suddenly shattered. The glass, part of the ship's wraparound pool deck design, broke while the ship was sailing back to Port Canaveral during a 4-day showcase cruise that included a stop at Perfect Day at Coco Cay. No injuries were reported, and crew members quickly secured the area by covering the damage and roping it off for guest safety. This is not the first time Royal Caribbean has faced glass breakage on board, as similar incidents have been reported on other ships earlier this year. Star of the Seas is set to begin its week-long Caribbean and Bahamas itineraries later this month. Shortly after departing on an 11-night Alaska sailing, Ruby Princess faced an unusual emergency when 2 passengers required urgent medical evacuation at the same time. The U.S. Coast Guard, Royal Canadian Air Force, and Canadian Coast Guard worked together to carry out the rare dual airlift, successfully transferring both guests for advanced care. Despite the medical emergencies, Ruby Princess continued as scheduled, making her first port call in Ketchikan, Alaska, without disruption to the itinerary. Wonder of the Seas, once the world's largest cruise ship, has arrived in Miami for the first time and will now homeport at Port Miami. The ship is scheduled to offer short 3- and 4-night Caribbean cruises, a move that underscores Royal Caribbean's strategy of deploying its biggest ships on shorter itineraries to appeal to younger travelers and first-time cruisers. The arrival was marked by a warm welcome from Port Miami and local operations officials, celebrating another milestone for the cruise capital of the world. With its lineup of entertainment, dining, and family-friendly attractions, Wonder of the Seas is expected to be a major draw for both local vacationers and international guests seeking quick getaways. For pricing and booking Wonder of the Seas, email chillie@bookalaska.net. You've got 1 month left to save on mobility scooter and wheelchair rentals in Anaheim, LA, and Disneyland. These rentals are 15% off when you book by August 31st. This promo is only valid for rentals within 30 miles of our Scoot Around Anaheim location. Promo does not apply for cruise rentals, fares, or conventions. Call Scootaround at 1-888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137.
And I realize, folks, it's not 1 month left. It's like 4 days left. It's the end of the month. All the summer specials end. So you have to book it by the 31st, folks. Now, it can be, 2 or 3 months from now when you need the scooter or the wheelchair. But to get the deal, to get the sale price, you got to book it by the 31st.
Passengers aboard MSC World Europa experienced a frightening moment on Monday when the massive vessel temporarily lost power and propulsion while sailing off the Italian coast. The 215,863 gross ton ship was left adrift and operating on backup generators as the Italian Coast Guard deployed tugboats, patrol vessels, and a helicopter to assist and monitor the situation. After several tense hours, the MSC World Europa regained propulsion, but the incident caused delays to its scheduled arrival in Naples and impacted the ship's ongoing cruise. While operations have since returned to normal, the unexpected loss of power on one of the world's largest cruise ships has left many passengers shaken by the experience.
To my knowledge, that's the first time an MSC ship has flaked out like that, at least that I recall. A number of other cruise lines have had a much worse record than MSC has had. Although it's a little scary because World Europa is a reasonably new ship. It came out before World America, but not that much before, 3 months or something. So it's probably been out a year maybe. And then having an electrical issue, that's a little scary. But they've fixed it quickly, so let's see if there's any, secondary problems.
A family is suing Norwegian Cruise Line after a tragic drowning during a Bermuda excursion from Norwegian Getaway. According to the lawsuit, filed March 25, 2025, passenger Hyun Duk Shin drowned at Horseshoe Bay on March 27, 2024, after rescuing a girl caught in rip currents. The 7-night Bermuda cruise had departed March 24 with Shin traveling alongside his wife, 2 sons, and mother. The family alleges that Norwegian Cruise Line failed to warn guests about dangerous currents, promoted the excursion as easy, and offered the tour outside peak tourist season when lifeguards were not present. The lawsuit also claims the company did not disclose other recent drowning incidents in the area. Shin's wife, children, and mother witnessed the tragedy. The family is seeking damages, stating Norwegian's negligence directly contributed to his death. Celebrity Cruises has named world-renowned Brazilian chef Janaina Torres as godmother of its newest ship, Celebrity Excel. Torres, co-owner of São Paulo's acclaimed A Casa do Porco and winner of the 2024 World's Best Female Chef Award, will christen the vessel in Fort Lauderdale on November 16, 2025. This marks the first time a Brazilian chef has been chosen as godmother of a major cruise line ship. Known for her innovative, no-waste culinary philosophy and dedication to Brazilian heritage, Torres has earned global acclaim, including a Michelin star. Her appointment reflects Celebrity Cruises' focus on food and cultural experiences as central to its brand. Celebrity Excel will debut the Bazaar, a 3-deck venue featuring local cuisine, cooking classes, cultural festivals, and crafts tied to the ship's destinations. Explora Journeys, the luxury brand of the MSC Group, has named world-renowned number 1 ranked tennis champion Jannik Sinner as its new global brand ambassador. The announcement was made at an exclusive event in New York City, just ahead of the US Open where Sinner is competing. Baha Mar has announced that 4-time Grammy Award-winning writer, producer and music icon Lenny Kravitz will be the 2025 Bahamas Culinary and Arts Festival's headline performer. The event will take place October 22 to October 26 at Baha Mar and feature an impressive roster of world-renowned chefs along with the celebrated Fuse Caribbean Art Fair. The festival kicks off with a taste of Baha Mar, the opening event for weekend pass holders.
If you're ever in the Bahamas when they're doing a festival like that, you got to go. It's well worth it just to sit on the edges and watch. I have enjoyed it twice in my sailing career when I was in the Bahamas at a festival time. It's pretty awesome.
An overboard situation developed from Disney Wish about 8 p.m. last night. The Disney cruise ship turned around and launched a search and rescue mission, but the person was not found. Disney Wish was en route from Nassau to Castaway Cay. According to passengers currently on board, all guests and crew were accounted for following a mandatory mustering.
That's a hell of a note. A man overboard and it turns out to be a hoax. Wow.
Limited time offer. From now until August 31st, 15% off on rentals in Las Vegas. Whether you need a wheelchair, scooter, power chair, oxygen or other piece of mobility equipment, Scootaround powered by Will can help. Once you've booked your rental, we can deliver to wherever you need it. Just call Scootaround at 1-888-441-7575 and use SRN 11137.
All right, that's going to put an end to the news portion of today's show. Let's go over in the chat room and see who, if anybody, is fussing at me today. Joanne's at the dentist. I hope all comes out well there. There's Gretchen out in Ohio. Uh-oh, running late. Actually, yeah, that was, I was here. The computer was late. It was just sitting there kind of deciding to get off its butt and get started. I think that's what it was. Todd's with us. Good morning, Todd. Gary Older than Dirt. I was just talking about you, Gary, on Grandiosa in February. Are you booked for both the Eastern and the Western? I was thinking you were just booked on the Eastern, which is what I was originally just booked on. So I don't remember you being booked on both, but that's neither here nor there. Roger's with us from Jacksonville. Roger, I hope you're going to be able to join us on the MSC. Grandiosa. Amy's with us. Good morning, AB. Did I say AB? Come on, tongue. Amy. Gretchen says, I'll be in Halifax on September the 11th, going to Lunenburg. I like Halifax. It used to be, this was before the current docking facility was completed. When I first started going in there, you get off the ship and walk down the pier, and the first joint was a lobster. It was a bar restaurant that had a huge lobster tank and had like a 400-pound lobster in it. The damn biggest lobster I've ever seen. I mean, he had to be a bazillion years old. Of course, he wasn't there to eat. He was there to look at. You could also get lobster there, which I did many times. I don't know how many times. I've been to Halifax probably a dozen times, maybe over the years. I mean, every time I went north, I mean, remember, I'm going back in the days when if you went north anywhere, you went to New Brunswick and to Halifax. So I've done that a bunch. I've taken groups up there. I remember one time we did a group from one of the local establishments here. And we loaded people into vans here and drove to New York City and got on the boat in New York and sailed up to Halifax. So that was a long drive for moving. I think it was about 40 people on vans. So, yeah, we're doing some strange things. Going to see the Blue Nose 2 and go to a pub for fish and chips. Hot Air Tom did show me, did send a picture of fish and chips from someplace. I want to think maybe that was in Greenland, and they had the mushy peas just like they have in England. I don't care for them particularly. I do like the fish and chips. Although the fish and chips that Hot Air Tom had the picture of, it was smaller pieces of fish. It wasn't like, the English, you got the nice, good size pieces of fish. This was looked like a little smaller fish. Wasn't a whole lot bigger fish than the chips. But anyway, I do enjoy fish and chips. Why isn't Tom joining us? Is he traveling today or just having too good a time on an excursion someplace? I have no idea what the schedule is today. Um, I'm now for some reason I'm thinking that they overnighted in Halifax and he's in Halifax again today. I could be wrong on that one. I just don't remember, Gretchen. Sonny's with us down in Mississippi. I was just talking about you last night, too. Bob's with us. Let's have a great day. Gary Older Dirt's on both. Awesome, Gary. 7th and the 14th. Good. So we're going to have a nice little crew on that, because you got Kenneth and me and you and Hot Air Tom and Cindy that comes to mind. I know Roger's thinking about it. I sent him some information. And anybody else, folks, if you want to join us on the Grandiosa, again, I've not been on the Grandiosa. It's very similar to Meraviglia, which I've been on 3 or 4 times. A number of my friends in Europe have sailed Grandiosa numerous times, and they love it. Did you hear from Monday's interview? I did not, Bob. I have sent numerous messages. As a matter of fact, I sent another one this morning. I don't know what happened. If something happened to her, if there was no signal, I don't know. And I have not heard back. So yeah, it's kind of strange. Roger, I'm thinking 2:14, the 7th day. Okay, that's Eastern. I will see if anybody will go with me. Will you be on that one? Yes, I will be on both. I'll be on the 7th and the 14th. Yep. So we'll warm you up a spot, Roger. What is the date for Poesia? You would have to ask me that, wouldn't you? Hang on. I tell you, I know exactly how I can tell you that, because off the top of my head, I do not remember, but I do have a commercial for it, don't I? Where's the logging? That's the only way I know it.
Experience Alaska at an affordable rate. VR1 balconies are only $1,289, including taxes and port charges. MSC Poesia sails from Seattle, May 25th, 2026. Book now. Call 434-258-9264 or go to bit.ly/Poesia Alaska 1.
Okay. May 25th. How's that, Gary? And I got a free commercial thrown in just to check it out for you. Where was I here? Oh, no, I'm comments. Back in the chat room. Let's see. All right. That wraps up the show for today, folks. Sorry about the little screw up delay. Like I say, I'm going to get my computer here and just as soon as I can process the show, get the podcast up, and then I'm head for the computer guy's house to pick up my computer. And hopefully we'll be back on a more normal basis with the technical end of things. Although considering this is an old crappy computer, it hasn't done bad for these, excuse me, 3 shows that I've had it, for. At least I got them on the air. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Thanks for being with me. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up if you have not done so. And take this as my invitation to join us. Turn on the little bell notification. You'll be notified when I go live or when a new video is up. And I do a lot of that. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas, like a bunch of us are going to do on Grandiosa. Why not join us? I'll see you on Friday, everybody. Have a great day.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, so if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.